So part two of our discussion of the absolutely dystopian Trump rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma over the weekend is the attendees. Yes, there weren't that many of them despite the predictions, and we're going to talk about that later on. But check out some of these interviews with people who went there to support Donald Trump. Now I do feel the need to issue a disclaimer here. The goal here isn't to make fun of people. The goal is to remind you some of these people vote, not all of them, but some of these people vote. And when I explain week after week after week why it's so important to get out the vote in November, this is going to remind us of the importance, because a ton of these Trumpists, when you see them talk, you're going to realize that what I've been saying is true. They can't be talked out of voting for Donald Trump. These are the people that we are talking about when I say, would it be easier to get 5 leftist friends to vote, people who are not usually voters, and just say, hey, it's really important that you vote? Would that be easier? Or would it be easier to convince one of these people I'm about to show you to vote? And you will very quickly see these are not people you can talk sense into. So the context here, remember, is coronavirus is spreading wildly in Oklahoma and other red states. A huge part of the country doesn't seem to believe it, or believe that it's that serious, or believe that it warrants social distancing. And a lot of those exact same people are the ones that approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing. The ones saying, I like what he's doing. I believe he's doing a good job. So let's start with Rosie Matlock. Check this out. She waited in line for 4 days. Remember, the stadium was 2/3 empty. Why you would wait in line for 4 days anyway is a question. Why you would do it when the stadium is 2/3 empty? Well, she was propagandized by Donald Trump about 1 million requests for tickets, and she was interviewed by Andrew Kimmel. This is fascinating. She's asked, why have you been sleeping in the chair for 4 days waiting for Trump? And she says, well, he risked his whole life for us, so I'm here, which almost suggests she's agreeing that there's a risk to her life from being at the rally, right? Maybe I'm missing the interpretation here, but let's take a look at it together.
From?
I'm Rosie Matlock. I'm from Bristol, Oklahoma.
And so when did you start waiting in line?
Wednesday.
So what brought you to come out on Wednesday?
I wanted to see my president.
And are you sleeping out here?
Yes, sir, in a chair.
You've been sleeping in a chair?
Yep. No, last night I slept on the concrete.
Okay. That is devotion.
Yeah. We support him.
And so, you know, what is it that makes you want to sleep on the street, sit in a chair for 3 nights now?
He's risked everything of his life for us. What's 4 days?
How about that for an answer? He gave up everything for us and sleep on a concrete floor for 12
sorry.
hours. There you go. Bang, bang.
He's a good president. We want him to know we're supporting him. We love him, and we want him to know we are behind him 100%. 100%.
Military.
No more negativeness.
So that's weird. And this next moment is just great. This is still Andrew Kimmel interviewing her. Rosie Matlock says, what could get you to not vote for Trump? In other words, is there a hypothetical where if Trump did X, X would mean you don't vote for Trump? And she says, well, if he cheated on Melania, which of course Donald Trump did, and check out the direction this goes.
Is there anything that Trump can do that would make you lose your support for him?
Commit adultery on his beautiful, classy wife. She's amazing. She is what every American first lady should be.
Well, what about the Stormy Daniels thing? Because he was married to her at that time.
That was years ago before he ever became president. Nobody is accountable for what he done when he was a lot younger.
Oh, okay. Trump was cheating on Melania, but when he was in his 60s. Now Trump is president as a 70-plus-year-old man. You can't hold him accountable for that. This is gold, because we often talk about asking Trumpists this question. What would make you not support Trump? She identifies something that would make her not support Trump. Cheating on Melania. And Andrew Kimmel points out, well, but he did that. And she says, well, yeah, but that was before he was president of the United States. If he cheated on Melania now, I wouldn't vote for him. You cannot convince them. Do not even bother. Do not waste your time, please. Let's continue. Here's a Trumpist inside the rally asked about virus concerns. Says he's not worried because he can always take hydroxychloroquine. Take a look.
I'm not concerned about the spread. I think in the general population, I'm seeing like a
0.4 or 0.2% mortality rate. And
Even if you got it, you're not worried about it.
no, and even if I did get sick from it, I mean, there's so many positive studies with the hydrochloroquine and zinc combination.
The FDA got written. They said you can't prescribe it for that anymore.
No, the FDA saying that it is able to be prescribed. They only shut it down for a certain thing. And actually, in Trump's roundtable the other day, they explained it very well.
So, of course, this guy is wrong. The emergency use authorization was shut down. Patients on hydroxychloroquine were not doing well. It's not working. And what happened in the roundtable is that Alex Azar simply said, it might work if taken earlier. We don't have any evidence of that, but that's what was said at the roundtable. So again, important, these folks don't even comprehend what it is that is said. Alex Azar was lying when he said this stuff. In other words, the idea that they're optimistic about giving it earlier, there's no evidence of that, but it doesn't matter because people like this voter will hear whatever it is that they want to hear. Here's another dude who has a friend who died of coronavirus. His friend's kid was on a ventilator, but here he is without a mask around people without masks as cases rage in Oklahoma. Take a look.
I personally don't. I know COVID is real. We had a friend who died from COVID, and his son was on a ventilator. He almost died, so we know it's real. But then at the same time, you don't know what's the facts, because you feel like maybe one side plays it one way and the other side plays it another. So me personally, I don't really know, but I do know this, that even the ones that are very concerned about COVID, when we spent time with them last 5 days, they were interacting without their masks normal.
His friend died, son on a ventilator, almost died, but we don't know what the facts are. Well, what are we talking about exactly? I mean, is it a fact that your friend died? Is it a fact that your friend's kid was on a ventilator? And then the motivated reasoning is just fascinating. Listen, I know people who are concerned and they're around groups of people without wearing a mask. So that must be evidence that's okay, that it's okay to do the thing I want to do anyway. But are we talking about that being done at a rally of 6,200 people? That seems a little different. And then here's the cherry on top. Here's a guy who says that Barack Obama ushered in Marxism and says, how on earth did anyone vote for anyone named Obama anyway? Oh, and by the way, Obama also wasn't Obama's real name.
Supporter, and what drew you to him, and were you always a conservative, Republican? Tell me.
Yeah, I walked away from the Republicans back in 2006. Once we gave them a trifecta from 04 to 06, they spent like drunken sailors and they became, basically Democrats. So I walked away from them back then. Then they, half the country's wealth was stolen in broad daylight. September of 09, nobody goes to jail except Bernie Madoff, and he was stealing from his own people. Then, of course, they ushered in Obama to normalize Marxism in the United States of America, teeing it up for Hillary to do us in. You think it'd be common sense you wouldn't vote for a guy named Obama for president of the United States, particularly since that wasn't even his real name, but.
Marxist Obama, whose real name wasn't Obama, never should have been elected on the basis of claiming to be named Barack Obama. It's interesting. If you're going to lie about your name, wouldn't you pick something that would not be a turnoff to a large swath of this country that is xenophobic and racist and pick something other than Barack Obama? Like, as a fake name, Barack Obama seems like a horrible idea. It seems Martin Smith might have been a smarter fake name to take if that was the idea. So we can't convince them. This is more proof. We've got to get out the vote. Don't even waste energy. Just focus on getting out the vote in the key battleground and swing states. We know which ones they are. We know which states are likely to determine who is the Electoral College victor in November, and that's where we have to focus. Let me know what you think. I'm on Twitter at Pakman. Remember that we have a daily audio podcast, which you can get for free on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Leave us a review, if you please, on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. Pick your poison. All of them are available. We'll take a quick break. More on the rally attendance and Trump's rage at the empty seats coming up after the break.